I'm not affiliated with California Republic. I think that's the name brand. Just taking out my hair. Hello, everyone. It's your sister Roland, and all I need is a few minutes because I haven't been saying that in my lives. So, thank you for everybody that's going to join, and thank you for everybody that's going to watch later. Appreciate your support. So, today, if you saw the thumbnail, we're going to talk about what happened to Jordan Neely. When I first heard about this story, I thought it happened today, but it didn't happen today. It happened on Monday. But I guess with all the reports coming out, different reports that came out, that's why, and then there are protests going on. That's probably why it's getting more traction. And 'cause I think when it happened on Monday, he died on Monday too, the Jordan Neely guy. So anyway, so that's what we're gonna talk about. Find out what happened. But before I start, um, what's that? So yes, he died. He's no longer here. So before I start, like I said in my Tierra, when I did my Tierra Strand live, the young lady that went out with her so-called friends and did not return home. Sometimes when people die, and if they die like in a very bad way, horrific way, people like to pretend like the person never did anything wrong. The person was an angel. They never broke any rules or anything like that. They were like a perfect saint. That's what I don't understand. We all have done wrong. The Bible says there is none that is good. No, not one. Not one of us is good. All of us have bad ways. So with that being said, um, with this young man, the way that he died, and especially when it comes to melanated people, the news tend to always bring up their criminal past, if they have any, to overshadow what happened to them and whatever it may be. Which sometimes is most of the time is irrelevant, but in this situation, what is relevant is that this young man died, and he died, and we really don't know what led up to. We have people saying, this what was happening, but the only actual video that we have, is of this young man being put in. First of all, it looked like a headlock, and then a chokehold because he was resisting. He's trying to, not resisting because they're not police, but he's trying to get out of their grip. He's trying to get out of their grip, and sometimes if you do the chokehold correctly, the person would pass out. But unfortunately, he passed out and never got back up again. So we're gonna read this on my computer over here. You can't see because we ain't set up yet. I am not associated with California Republic. Ignore this. Just a hat. So, the death of a subway rider who was put into a chokehold by a former Marine on the train has been ruled a homicide. So, when it's ruled a homicide, that means he was just killed by somebody else, according to what I know about him. So, now they're going to do more investigation to see if this homicide was manslaughter, if it was premeditated murder, or whatever it may be. So that's what they're going to do. But they ruled that he was actually killed by somebody else because that's what happened. The guy, put him in a chokehold, well, headlock person, and chokehold, pass him down so he could pass out because they needed him to calm down because he wouldn't calm down. So anyway, and now activists are calling for charges to be filed. So that's probably what sparked all this outrage and debate when it was ruled a homicide. So, but that only means that he was just killed by somebody else. So they have planned several protests and rallies on Thursday. So that's why all there was. Now I saw some videos. Hopefully they are real, because sometimes when we have controversial stuff go on, that there be stuff that happened like 5 years ago, and then they put it out there, and you thinking that's what's happening now, and it's not. So I don't know. I know some protests are going on, but I saw some protests they was fighting with the police. Yeah, that's what's going on. That was crazy. They was at the subway station protesting. Anyway, so they have planned several protests and rallies on Thursday as the NYPD has issued a call for public help in their investigation. Jordan, so they need public help because if anybody else have other footage, other angles, because we have one angle, and then but we don't have what led up to the him being on the floor in a chokehold slash headlock. So Neely is recognizable to some New Yorkers as a Michael Jackson impersonator who regularly danced in the Times Square transit hub. On Monday afternoon, he was yelling and pacing back and forth on a F train in Manhattan. So this happened Monday afternoon. Witnesses and police said when he was restrained by at least three people, including a U.S. Marine veteran who pulled one arm tightly around his neck. He was on the F train. A physical struggle ensued, leading to Neely losing consciousness, who was rushed to Lenox Hill Hospital where he was pronounced dead. So there was three. Well, there was if you watch the video, they don't. Well, I don't watch. I didn't watch the video up until the time that he was, losing his life. But there was a woman. There was this other guy with a backpack. He was just standing there, and I guess he was like, you know what? Since I'm standing here, let me go try to do something. He's trying to help, but it's really the guy who they say is a Marine vet. I guess the Marine veteran is the one that put him in a chokehold slash headlock. Him, and then it's this other guy who's trying to get his hands together, his feet together. He looked maybe he's Hispanic, or maybe he is maybe a light-skinned black man, but one of those. So those were the four people around, and then you have other people that was getting off the train. So on Wednesday, that's today, right? No, that was yesterday. Wednesday is today. I don't even know the day today. It's a shame. I've been having a rough week. Today's Thursday. So yesterday, oh Lord. On Wednesday, which was yesterday, a medical examiner determined Neely's was a homicide. So right away, I would think that I thought medical examiner reports come out. It takes a while for them to come out. But I guess they did this quick. But they did this like a preliminary report. Let's say that, because so much pressure, probably people calling the medical examiner threatening. So I guess the medical examiner had to put out something, because with stories that have all this coverage, yeah, they under a lot of pressure, so they'll rush and do stuff that probably would take a month. They can do it in 24 hours. So, however, that does not mean his case will be prosecuted as a homicide. That is up to the Manhattan DA's office, which is investigating. As part of our rigorous ongoing investigation, we will review the medical examiner's report. So that's a preliminary report. So then they're going to have a full report that they're going to give. And obtain additional medical records and read a statement from the spokesperson for the DA. The NYPD is asking for help from the public as investigators review video footage and other material, and said the department's first priority always is to seek justice. So they asking the public, whoever had other footage, other angles, stuff leading up to this altercation, which led to death, to send your footage to the police, not to World Star, because y'all like to do that. Y'all like to send stuff that's crucial to investigations, and you guys send it to World Star, you send it to other blogs so you can make money. If you really want to help, And then y'all be right up in the protest. No, 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 justice for this. Say their name. Say their thing. And then you have footage. You already made $500 on it, and you don't even give it to the thing. Don't make no sense. Thank you. Yes, a lot of people do that. Talk. They right there all up in the protest. They have a footage, but they rather send it to World Star or other blogs so they can make money instead of sending it to the police. And so now the police have to subpoena World Star or get them footage to them where you just could have just sent the footage to the police. Wow. Both the family of Jordan Neely and the 24-year-old Marine retained legal counsel. Well, I could understand the Marine retained legal counsel. That I could understand because he don't know how this is going to turn out. The Neely's family attorney released a statement that said in part, I took this case because 15 minutes is too long to go without help, intervention, and without air. Passengers are not supposed to die on the floor of our subways, which is true. Nobody's supposed to go on no subway and then you end up not being here. As news of Neely's death spread online, video of the encounter evoked strong reactions. Yeah, they because they clip if there's a whole part here, they clip the part that's going to cause strong reaction from New Yorkers and officials. Some described the act as legal overreaction to a person in the throes of mental illness, and others defended the Marines' veterans' action. On Wednesday night, Congresswoman Alexandra Jordan tweeted Jordan Neely's was okay. So these people tweeting. So one thing is interesting how it says that Jordan Neely's family retained counsel, but he was on the. Oh yeah. Oh, you can't say that. You gonna? Yes, I am gonna say it. How is it that he's on the train saying that he's tired? What did he say? Let's see. Let me quote exactly what he said. Hope I didn't lose it. Okay. He said he erupted in the train and then started yelling violent language. That's according to the people that was on the train. One person or two people, I don't know who they got the statement from. Oh, Juan Alberto Vasquez. Okay, so he said, I don't care if I die. I don't care if I go to jail. I don't have any food. I don't have any beverage. I'm done. But then his family retained legal counsel. And then what's so thing? So he couldn't go to none of y'all to get food. He couldn't go to none of y'all to get some drink. But y'all retain legal counsel, right? And when you look at it, when you look at the this thing, this situation, they might come up with something, because when the guy was put him in the headlock, he had him in a headlock, and then the other guy was trying to subdue him. I'm saying to myself, where's the security? Because I don't know how it is. I'm sure in the subway they have, security personnel, because Miami-Dade we have the tri-rail, which is like similar to what you guys have as a train, a subway train in New York. Every station has a security personnel there, and some of the and some inside the train there are security personnel. The man was there. They say it's 15 minutes. Why there was no security that came through? That I can understand. So with that loophole, probably the family could get. They probably gonna get something out of that. But then he's obviously he's tired. He probably hasn't eaten in days, because they say he's a Michael Jackson impersonator, but it looked like he was probably younger, because in the picture when the guy had him in a chokehold, he looked a bit older. But when you've been on the streets and you've had it rough, you can age. You can definitely age. When you've been going through a whole lot of stuff, you could age 5-6 years for real. So maybe I don't know if he always did that, or maybe that was in his younger years. So yeah, No security. With 15 minutes, it takes that long for security to respond. Nobody called the police. Nobody called security. There's not like a button you could press. It doesn't, because if you have been watching news, it's always some type of foolishness going on this at subway in New York subway train stations. You have people pushing people. You have people taking feces and putting it all over people. That's why people, they have to ride the subway, but people are, always on the alert, because you just never know what could happen. And then people were saying, um, he went to look for help and then he ended up dying and stuff like that. If you're looking for help, the subway is not the place to go look for help, because you have people that are on there. They're coming from work. They tired. They want to go home. They want to go to sleep. They want to go eat. They want to go relax and watch their shows. They on their way to work. They on their way to school. They coming back from school. They tired. They don't want nothing to go wrong on the train, so it doesn't delay them from getting home or getting to work or getting to school. That is not the place to go ask for help at all. That is not the place. So people saying that, that is not a place to go for help. And then when the person is, obviously he was in a crisis, he was having a crisis, whether it stems from him not being able to eat for days, probably haven't been able to sleep or whatever, because it seems like he's homeless, or he doesn't have a stable place to stay. He's here one day, here the next day. So he's probably going through a crisis. At the point before the person going into crisis, like if you have had de-escalation classes, which I have had, they tell you you have to catch the small signs before they go crazy and start attacking people, cursing people out, and want to be up in people's face. They show little signs. But this is the thing, nobody cares, nobody's watching, so you won't be able to catch those little signs. And then it's when they really go into that crisis, and then it's most of the time it's too late. There's really nothing you could do. You have to subdue them. They're gonna have to get arrested. They're gonna have, because they already up there. They when they were showing the little signs, they were at 1, 2, but then nobody was paying attention. They already at 9, 10. It's a wrap. And most of the time they don't, when they at that time at that point, they do not listen. And this is coming from somebody that worked with homeless people, homeless veterans, home people who are on drugs. I i i I'm around these people all the time, all the time. It was one lady who was in a similar situation like that. She had came to the shelter and she was cursing everybody out. Oh, she's been sleeping in the streets. She needs somewhere to sleep. She hasn't eaten in days and stuff like that. But because of COVID, long time ago, you could have just walk in and come into the shelter. But because of COVID, there's a way that you have to do it. You have to do it through the green shirts. You have to get with them, and then they have to let you in the shelters. So she didn't know that. So she right there cursing people out, and they was about to call the police for her. I was telling her, because she spoke Creole, and she was cursing people out in Creole, and I was like, look here. I was like, you can't get in the shelter like this. I say, you gonna have to stay in front of the shelter until Monday, because this happened on a Friday. Because she was already at a 9, 10. She was cursing me out. She was telling me all kinds of stuff. But I was telling her, please. I say, you can curse me out as much as you want. I'm just trying to help you. I said, you have to stay. I know that's not what you want to do, but that's better than having to sleep out there in the streets. At least if you're in front of the shelter, there's security guards that walk up and down all the time. You have cameras. I say, you're gonna have to stay here on Monday morning, and these guys with green shirts, you're gonna have to talk to them so they get you in the shelter. But one thing about her, she listened. One thing about her, she listened to me. She listened, and then she actually listened, because I went there. It was Friday that happened. Sunday, I come back to work in the kitchen. She was still in front of the shelter, and I was like, you see. And then she listened, and then Monday she was able to talk to the people with green shirts that get you in the shelter, and she's in the shelter right now. She's getting her life together. The other day, I think trying to get her social security, because she lost everything. People stole stuff from her. So she's trying to get her life in order, and very soon she's going to be able to get her own place. Even though she was at 10, but she was able to listen, and then she went to a place where she can get help. She didn't get it right away, but eventually she was able to get it. So people were saying, "Oh, he went. He needed help and nobody helped him, stuff like that." Um, the subway is not a place to get help. It's not a place. The subway was familiar to him because he used to do, if that was him who's doing a Michael Jackson impersonation, it was familiar. Maybe somebody who knew him by doing those dances would have given him $5 or something. He probably may have asked certain people. He probably might before this happened. He may have asked certain people. Nobody wanted to give him $1. Nobody wanted to give him $2, and then he just let loose. So that's probably was a trigger for him. All this time I was dancing for you guys, I was letting loose, and now I ask you for $1. Nobody could give me $1, and he was so up there and so upset. And then he let loose because we don't know what happened, but it says that he was being threatening. I don't know if he had a thing on, because now just that snippet where he's on in the chokehold. That's all we have. We don't know what led up to that. That's why you have to be very careful, because that's how the news. You know the news. A lot of news. Nobody checking for the news, so they leave bits and pieces out there. So people keep on going back so that you could check on their channel, because really a lot of people get their news other places. So sometimes it's way after you hear, oh yeah, he had this, he had that, but we don't have the full story. That's why you have to be careful going going bananas and doing all kind of stuff and getting hurt from by the police. I see people getting dragged. They pushing the police dragging them to arrest them. Come on, why you have to go through all that? Why you have to go through all of that? There's no reason to go through all that. And then, to me, how it looked like, it look. I don't think that guy came out of his house saying, "Oh, I'm gonna look for a black man and I'm gonna put him in a chokehold and I'm gonna take him out." I don't think it went like that. But I think he did use too much. He was because the guy was trying to get out. He used too much force. But and using too much force. Unfortunately, this young man, he died, and he is never coming back. Now everybody trying to run and jump on his case. Like always, like the normal ones, they're gonna come and jump on his case. So charges could come out. Maybe this could be involuntary manslaughter, but if people pushing, for murder, but this wasn't really he didn't intentionally mean to murder him. So if they pushing them, the DA to say no, he killed that man, and people saying he lynched whatever, and then the evidence does not support that. So now they're gonna go to trial on murder or lynch or whatever, hate crime, and then the evidence doesn't even suggest that, and then boom, he's free. That's what exactly is gonna happen. That's what is gonna happen. I don't think he intentionally did that. I do not think he intentionally. I think whatever was happened that led up to him putting him in a headlock or chokehold, it showed that he really was gonna hurt somebody. If you if you are on Twitter now, now these videos are coming up. You have people, and it's always melanated people that's going on these subways and hurting people, taking people's stuff. It was one guy came on the subway train and sat next to the lady. I guess the way he came on, it was two ladies on the road. Both of them got up, and then he got the other one by the hair, and he pulled her down by the hair. She trying to get loose, and then he just right there holding on to her and saying all kind of stuff, and then everybody just standing there doing nothing. So people stand there and do nothing, you get criticized. You do something, you still gonna get criticized. What do you do? Because a lot of things been going on these subway trains, but in New York there are places you do not need a car. The subway would be better, but the subway has been inundated with a lot of people that are homeless, that are going through all kinds of stuff, that have all kinds of issues. They have all type of issues. So these people have all type of issues, and then they are coming on the subway trying to get, I guess, somebody to give them $1 or 50 cents, $5 or whatever. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we'll see how this turns out. But I don't think this guy intentionally meant to do it. But it's a white person and a black person, and the black person got hurt by the white person and actually died. So that's why it's trending, it's all over. But let's remember the other day when I did my live with all those kids, two different parties, two different Sweet 16 parties where several black kids lost their life. Those weren't trending. Nobody's talking about that because why? It's black people hurting black people. Nobody cares. But then everybody care when it's a white person that hurt a black person and then they end up dying. Keep the same energy. That's my thing. Keep the same energy. As a black and black person, keep the same energy. White and black, keep the same energy. White and white, keep the same energy. But that's not gonna happen because they want us to be divided. They want division to happen. Why is not the same energy then? And then I just can't get it. Why there was no security? Why this young man was hungry? He had family and he couldn't go to family. He probably was disrespectful to the family, maybe, or they just didn't want to deal with him. But now, where it could be some cha-chings, now they have counsel. And they're going to get all kind of counsels who going to do it for free for now because, when the money come in, because people don't research and, oh, how much do you charge per hour? Nope. Oh, you want to be my lawyer? Let's go. And then when actual money come in, the lawyer end up getting 70 to 90% of the money because their fees are so much. Nobody think to research or ask, how much do you charge again? Because all you see is dollar signs. It's like black men are more valuable dead. That's when people care. But when he was showing those little signs before he went into crisis, nobody saw it. And then plus you have to be trained for that. Because we have this Marine at the shelter now. I told this case manager, I said, y'all need to get this boy some help. Well, this young man some help because he is going to go into a crisis. He's showing those small signs. The other day I was driving going to the shelter and he just ran across the street. The light was green. Didn't even care if he was going to get hit. And then he's telling the case manager, oh, people after him, they trying to kill him. I say he need help. I say, when y'all going to help him? When he try to hurt somebody in the shelter? And he's a veteran. This young man is a veteran. I say he probably got triggered someplace because the other day he was in some type of fight and he came with a black eye. He had calmed down for a while, but then something happened. And then now he's in crisis. He's not eating, which is not good. He's not eating. All these stuff is little things people don't pay attention to. And that's when it escalates. And then you have people on the subway threatening people and stuff like that. They're already in crisis. And by that time, it's too late. They're either gonna get arrested or something real bad gonna happen to them because people don't understand what crisis is and what to do in a crisis. And then another important thing in the situation is that he said with his own mouth, I don't care if I die. One important thing, for even if you don't take anything of the story, the Bible tells you, let's see what the Bible says. That's in Proverbs 18 and 21. Proverbs 18:21. It says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So if you love to speak death, that's going to be. If you love to speak death, that's going to be that's the fruit that you're going to reap. Because that's the fruit that you are sowing with your mouth, death. If you like to speak life, if you like to speak life on you, you like to speak life on the people around you, on your children, you will reap the fruit of what you have spoken. He said, and he's probably maybe used to saying it too, I don't care if I die. Unfortunately, he didn't know that was the day that he was going to reap. Your words have power. Your words have power. Be careful what you say with your mouth. You don't know, because you don't know when you're going to reap. You sow whatever you sow with your words, with your actions, you will reap it. And this is the thing, we don't know when we're gonna reap it. We don't know how we're gonna reap it. He said, I don't care if I die. I don't care if I go to prison, because he has went to prison before. He's went to prison before, and he's able to come out. Because in New York, I think when they do certain stuff like that, it's they let them out easily. But all that is setting people up, because you keep on doing stuff, and then you're really not paying the consequences, and then it escalates. But unfortunately, he had to pay for it with his life. Some people pay with the rest of their life. They have to spend the rest of their life in prison. Him, he paid by losing his life. So that's one important stuff I think people should get out of this. Be careful what you say with him. Unfortunately, he didn't know when he was gonna reap, but he did reap, and he reaped with his life. So what we'll have to do is hold on to see, because the police knows there are other people with footage out there, and we need to see different angles of exactly what happened, what led up to him being in the chokehold. But like I said, I don't believe this young man came out of his house saying, "Oh, I'm gonna look for a black man, put him in chokehold, and then he's gonna die." It was accidental, but it was too much force. It was too much force. He's probably getting frustrated because he was moving too much. He didn't want to stop. You have all these people. It was just two people trying to stop him, because the guy with the backpack really wasn't trying to do nothing. He just kind of did something because he was just standing there. But it was just the Marine veteran and the other guy with the hat that was really trying to stop him, with no help from the security. Lord knows where the security was. That's another question. Where was the security? Where was the security? Because they're supposed to be there. They're supposed to be there on every stop, or they're supposed to be somewhere on the train. It was like, I don't know if it was like it was meant for him to go. Nothing, everything that could have helped so he wouldn't die was not in his reach. Was not in his reach at all. Whew, I don't know. But anyway, that's all I had to say on this situation. Unfortunately, I really don't say rest in peace, because sometimes there's a way that the person left this earth. They are not rest in peace, because they didn't want to leave this earth like that. So he was already hungry and tired and sleepy and thirsty, and then now he left this earth the same way. That didn't get resolved. So how that person is rested in peace? That's for me. That's for me. So anyway, thank you for everybody that tuned in to this late live. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your help, and thank you for giving me the few long minutes that you did. And I'll see you in another live. Bye.